There are very few inventions that single-handedly have changed the course of humankind more than the automobile. And for the Ford Motor Company, 1964's legendary Mustang would change the game, not just for the company, but for anyone who would sit behind the wheel of what was destined to become its longest produced and most innovative and fun vehicle yet. Since I can remember, I have been infatuated with cars, and as I began competing in and winning drifting competitions in my Ford Mustang, along with becoming ingrained in the Mustang world, I, like Ford himself, began to let my imagination run wild. It's in my nature to constantly be thinking of ways to push both myself and my personal vehicles to the absolute limit. Unique, powerful, fast, and most of all, fun. A Ford Mustang that would not only cause heads to turn, but put smiles on faces and push performance to the limit. A Mustang that will be available to all, but not for everyone. It's been over a decade since RTR first debuted its now signature, fresh, modern, aggressive treatment to the Ford Mustang. I'd like to believe since then, RTR has done some things that will make Henry Ford himself extremely proud. So today we are at the Product Development Center. This is the design studio where all the magic happens. You don't mess with perfection normally, and Ford is able to continually impress with new models of the Mustang. And today we're going to get our first look at the future. But when I was invited to Ford headquarters that day to have a first look at the future, well, let's just say nothing could have prepared me for what I was about to see. Not only was Ford gearing up to slap the iconic Mustang logo on a crossover vehicle, but it would be 100% powered by electricity. Being an XIT guy, I'm extremely interested in latest and greatest technologies, and I personally had been watching the vehicle electrification market very closely. Yes, I love internal combustion engines. I love the smell of race fuel and the sound of our screaming V8s and our Mustangs, but it's always been extremely intriguing to me about the capabilities of electric motors and how they would react under, specifically, my right foot.
My name is Brian Novak, and I'm a motorsports supervisor at Ford Performance Motorsports. I think this project means a lot to Ford. I think, the Mustang Mach-E is a huge product for Ford. It's our first real push into electrification, and then we're using the Mustang name for that. And all this has to live up to that Mustang name. Electrification is the future, and that's something that we at Ford Motor Company are working very hard at.
We kind of considered it a compliance vehicle, so it didn't have the right proportions. But we changed direction, we reversed course, and decided to do an electric vehicle based on Mustang, which really gave us huge inspiration for not only changing the appearance to create a more emotional look, but also to change the proportions that would allow us to do that emotional look.
For me, as somebody that thinks outside of the box and is a driver and a fun haver, I was very excited at the prospect of using the full control of electric motors, to build something that could drift, could do hill climbs, could do, all-wheel drive drifting, gymkhana, hit lap attacks. I mean, an all-in-one, Swiss Army knife, if you will. And, for me, that's always been like the crux of RTR, building something that has diverse capabilities to put a smile on your face no matter who you are and what your interests are. It was really my personal love for technology and the art of the possible that is created with electric powertrains that really got me thinking. What would happen if we were to give the new Mustang Mach-E the ultimate RTR treatment? How far and how fast could we take this thing? Most importantly, I wanted to see if we could help revolutionize the way people both perceive and experience electric vehicles. And from that moment, my brain was just so focused on figuring out how to make it happen. And fortunately for us and timing, Ford Performance was on a parallel path. And so I asked. Okay, we're doing this.
Oh, what are you doing here?
You ready to do this?
I'm Lindsay Ross, and I'm the creative director and designer at RTR Vehicles.
Casper Vandershoot, and I'm managing director at RTR.
I'm Ray Shake. I sweep the floors in the RTR shop. Just started.
So the initial concept of this project, when Vaughn brought it to me, I think I was on board probably before I even finished the first sentence.
About time. Like, let's do this.
So here you have, RTR Vehicles, relatively young company, a lot of people with very diverse backgrounds, a lot of diverse experiences. And then we had Ford Performance, very buttoned up, very process driven, very, just two, I don't want to say opposites, but two companies that get things done and do things very differently.
As far as the Mach-E 1400, it was coming up with the idea, getting the program approved, and then just oversight of the program. To be successful in any project like this, it's got to be the right partners.
I think we were thinking along a similar path, and they, and they're just passionate car people, and that's what it is nowadays. This is no different than 40, 50 years ago when you would have dropped, a bigger engine in a Mustang.
Electrification is a key future of Ford Motor Company. And for them to entrust us to build a demonstrator of this sort, effectively a halo of their electrification message, for me, it is one of those pinch me moments. Not the cliche pinch me moments like punch me, is this real?
I think especially with a project like this that is so technically intensive, I think the biggest concern always is when you work with a new supplier is, are they going to be capable of handling the workload? So especially with something as cutting edge as an electric car like this.
And this is one of those things, like as great as it was, to be entrusted and to get the project and have all these realizations, and as exciting as that was, the downfall was extremely steep. Not delivering on this vehicle, not performing as explicitly expected would potentially be the demise of us. And that's something that we all took extremely seriously before, ultimately going.
For a first electric build, it's pretty insane. For a 10th electric build, it would be insane.
We had not done this before, so it was quite a steep learning curve that we were on.
When we started this, there was clearly a vision of what we all wanted to deliver, but so many unknowns because we, within the motorsports team at Ford Performance and Vaughn, had not done a full electric vehicle like this.
When it comes to building a vehicle, our RTR team can do it in their sleep. But we couldn't move this thing with the internal combustion engines that we have grown comfortable with. To push the Mach-E to the level we were envisioning, we're going to need a serious power source. This was completely uncharted territory for us, and the fastest way to get up to speed is to partner with the experts. In this case, the experts were halfway across the world.
We teamed up with Drive.io. They're a company in Latvia specialized in the development of electric powertrains. And they were our technical partner in this project.
When Vaughn approached me about 2 years ago, I was really happy about his inquiry because I saw that coming. And we were happy to provide all the initial information to begin the brainstorming process and come to some sort of a project that can actually be made in real life. I thought that such a crazy idea fitted well with Vaughn's personality and the image he has. You do need some sort of a human element in the system to make it fun for general audience, and I think in that respect Vaughn is a very fitting personality.
While my team was getting into the details with our partners at Drive.io, I was headed to do what I do best. Have some fun in the name of research. The goal was to confirm some personal assumptions that I had about electric vehicles. We're here because the amazing crew at EV West came and brought their electric-powered
E36.
E43.5.
Yeah.
So they fitted it with a handbrake. It's got 4 million foot-pounds of torque and about 65,000 horsepower. And we're gonna go see how electric cars handle drifting. Never even driven an electric car. I've been in a couple hybrids.
Yeah.
But today we ride.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right. I usually do it. Does this move? Spin it. Like I'm driving a big tractor. Woo, woo, woo. It's running, right? It started.
It's started and running. It's idling in neutral right now.
I don't hear anything.
Dude, like literally a quarter throttle blip, it will spin the tires.
Okay. This is gonna be wild. You push a button and you drive it. You push a button and press the gas pedal. Okay, I just started it and I'm in drive. I'm in drive. Do you hear me? Okay, look out. You know, I think I was like a lot of other people that love V8s and the scream and the smell of race fuel, and kind of had a little bit of naysay to me about electrification of vehicles. But the first time I stepped on the throttle and got thrown in the back of the seat and felt what instant torque was, my mind shifted immediately. This is insane and amazing.
The biggest concern in this project, and I think in a lot of other electrification projects, becomes the battery. The battery is just a super complex piece of kit that has to go into these things, and there's multiple cells. It's not just a single battery in this case. It's as the way all these modern vehicle batteries are built, is there's smaller cells, and you build them all up into the giant cell that sits underneath the car. And
Electric powertrains, more specifically powerful electric powertrains, is not something new to us, but this drift driving that this particular powertrain will do is certainly a new kind of drive cycle.
We have 2 separate drivetrains, front and rear, includes 7 motors, 7 controllers, the cooling for that, all fitting in an existing vehicle with 4 a driver and 3 passengers.
The power level of electric powertrains is essentially limited by the heat you can reject. So thermal management is top priority when packaging the vehicle.
I'm Sriram Pakam. I work in the aerodynamics group in Motorsports, and I was leading the aerodynamics development for the Mustang Mach-E 1400. We had to come up with new ducts, new ways of cooling through the roof, front cooling ducts that were different. All of these things were because of drifting. There are aspects on the floor, for instance, that are all meant to channel drifting smoke away and use it to actually give us downforce.
So we just did a full test of EV West BMW, electric BMW. At 50-60%, it was crazy fast. At 80%, it was faster. We ran out of chassis, is what we would call it. Like, the motors could handle more grip. It's interesting, like it's very early. There's some control things that are needed, like going off throttle and back on throttle. Like it's really hard to catch it and have that timing, but it's also because I'm used to internal combustion motors. So I think it's something else that would just adjust, And now, the real fun was about to begin.
I think from a motorsport side, I think that just the most exciting thing about the project is being able to work on something that's kind of a blank slate. Because usually when you work within motorsports, you have to work within a rule set. And in this case, we don't have to work within a rule set. We had this amazing Mustang Mach-E that we can take, just take this body off the factory floor and create what we want out of it.
I think the most exciting thing for me was having no rules. Like, it's just never happened to me in my life. Like, no one comes to me and says, go ahead, here's a blank slate. put as much performance as you can on this.
What if it had 1,400 horsepower? What if we added more motors? What if it became more extreme? And they're like, yeah, that's totally what we want. And you're like, oh yeah, that's cool.
So Mach-E 1400, when we set out to do this project, it was intended to be just a performance demonstrator.
The goal of a demonstrator is to be able to demonstrate concepts and technologies, but also learn.
This is a test bed. This is what we do to learn on how to make our future electric vehicles better. So we push the limits of batteries, we push the limits of the powertrain, we create new control algorithms, new traction control algorithms. We create all these different things with this, and then we're able to transfer that knowledge back to the mainstreams.
Advanced braking systems, advanced cooling systems were all added as these things will help Ford Performance understand these technologies and allow them to possibly use those at some time in the future in motorsports applications.
I've been working with Ford for 13 years prior to embarking on this project with them. And I thought I knew just about everything about Ford, all the ins and outs, all the secret doors. And this project opened up another door and pulled back another curtain of Ford's capabilities and the types of things that they're doing and interested in doing.
Collaborating with RTR was a pretty refreshing experience. I've been used to working on production programs which take 3 to 5 years. RTR is a much smaller team. They have their planning is a lot shorter, and on this program it was the same. So we had to be very agile, just like they are.
Timeline of the vehicle is extremely tight, and it was really tight.
When the team went to go from CAD to actually building on a car, they found so many issues and, things that were supposed to go through pieces of metal that weren't in CAD but were in the car, and just things that had to be adapted on.
With the complexity of this project, I can't imagine many groups of people that could accomplish as much as we did in the timeline we had available.
What's up, guys? What's up, man? Nice to see you.
Good seeing you, Vaughn.
What's up, buddy?
Hold on, man.
Wow, look at this thing. This thing is gonna be fun. Wow, that's so wild seeing all this. A lot of hard work here, that's for sure. You guys are killing it. So now we got this thing together. There's just one last thing to do. Take it for a rip. Top of the morning to you from Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. I am unbelievably excited about today. 5 years of dreaming, 2 years of extremely hard work from my RTR team and I, as well as the entire amazing Ford Performance crew. We're at a private test facility about to do our first shakedown of the Ford Mustang Mach-E 1400. So here we are at the time, everything's checked out. It's time to turn the power up. It's time to realize the potential of this dream machine. And it went nowhere. I say that figuratively, but it was slow. It was a pig. In my mind, oh my God, we failed. What are we gonna do? This is full power, something's wrong. We got something in the recipe, wrong. And we're on the phone with Kristaps, and he's moving ones and zeros, and he's like, okay, this is all I got. I think I figured it out. I think I found out why we haven't had full power, and let's see. So I look at Ray, Ray looks at me. I'm like, you ready? He's like, yep. And we floor it, and the car just launches.
We hit it and came to a stop instantly, like kind of shocked at what just happened.
And me and Ray look at each other, and we just started cracking up, hysterically laughing. Holy crap. Yo, Ray, I think Ray pooped his pants. No, we were like little kids. We did this. This is real. We're in this thing that we've brought to fruition, and it's everything that we wanted it to be.
That's stupid.
It's stupid.
Insane. I've never been in a car that's close to that.
That's like the white lightning ride that you can have to chill with. It felt so good. Like I left that first test like I just won a championship, like a year-long championship. We just got to the peak. We're holding the trophy up. Even though we still had a ton of work to do, leaving that first test, we were all just on cloud nine. And it was a good thing because we needed it. Going from digital and paper to reality, it's a whole other level. But seeing it in person for the first time, mind-blowing.
Well, you know, one of the great moments was to see the vehicle perform at APG during a video shoot, where there was a production team of about 50 people. It was a 3 or 4 day shoot. And the vehicle performed flawlessly, you know, for the whole shoot, every day, without any issues. That was quite satisfying.
The most meaningful moment for me in this project is when we were at the video shoot and 2 of the Ford engineers got to go for a ride in this vehicle. Just seeing the transformation in two corporate engineers was such a beautiful thing to see.
Like it comes on and it comes on again. And it just goes.
Since the moment we've built the car, the few people that we've put in it, I've seen the most straight-faced, experienced, grown men turn right back into little kids. As much as I love and live for the sound of a screaming internal combustion engine, the Mach-E 1400 is a one-of-a-kind. And a one-of-a-kind car like this needs to sound like nothing that has ever been heard before. So now we've confirmed that the Ford Mustang Mach-E 1400 is an absolute machine and everything functions as dreamed and worked so hard for. Now we get to have a little bit of the extracurricular activities, and today we're at MPG, Michigan Proving Grounds, doing some sound generation testing. So we've got the team out here from Harman.
We were totally excited when we were given this opportunity. You know, we're all about creating sounds for vehicles, and especially with our Halosonic external sound synthesis technology, like this was our chance to take that and go to the next level.
And I had just the guy and the team to help make it happen. My man! And we worked with T-Pain, yes, the Grammy award-winning artist T-Pain, who's a personal friend, a drifter, and a total gearhead. I've been working with him to develop a unique sound, and basically the challenge that I set out for myself and him to develop was like, hey, we need to create something that is kind of our vision of what a badass car electric vehicle can sound like. You ready to hear some of this magic you created?
I'm so ready, man.
All right, well, I'm gonna flip you over here real quick.
All right, go.
All right, so you know that's the hot rod, the Mustang Mach-E 1400.
Oh my God.
Yo, when it gets up, and as the speed ramps, it sounds like a jet. It's Yo, it's so good in person. It's so good.
God damn, that's nice.
So next step is you gotta come out and drive this thing.
Absolutely.
We gotta make it happen. Hey, for real though.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so nice.
I greatly appreciate your support on this project. You know, It starts with an idea. You build a badass team yourself, the crew at Harman, and now we put smiles on faces all over the world.
Let's do it. 'Cause I got one on mine, so let's work. Hell yeah, let's keep going. Shit.
All right, Payne, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you, bro.
All right, my man. See ya. So the first thing we did was dial in the idle. You know, T-Pain and I had a vision, and our entire team was all about it, that when you walk up to this car and we have the sound experience on, that you know, you hear something is very subtle, but kind of like it's alive, kind of like a, you know, a heartbeat of sorts. Then the next step was to go and do some test driving and basically transition from idle into the acceleration sound of the motors. I'm so pumped with what we've developed. It sounds exactly how the car looks, just wild.
Working with Vaughn and the RTR team has been amazing because there's a creative tension that we've had that's helped us both push each other and get the best for the vehicle. And those guys have been absolutely crucial in making this happen with their expertise and, you know, all the experience that they bring. It's really driven us to new heights.
Anytime you get to work with that many passionate car people, and we have that on the Ford Performance side, and we have that on the RTR side and the Drive EO side, anytime you get to work with anybody that passionate, it's great because everybody has the same goal in their head. There's no different goal. You want to make the best, fastest car that you can with what you're given.
It's been absolutely surreal. Like, we had such a small team and it was so secret for everything that there was maybe 15, 20 people who knew about it in all of Ford Motor Company. And I was like, some of my bosses were not even aware we were doing this.
You know, this reminds me of projects I've read about, these skunk work projects done in these scrappy garages with these scrappy groups that end up going down in history because they changed the game. And you know, my first time feeling what we had built made it very clear to me that this was one of those projects, that this was a game changer. The Ford Mustang Mach-E 1400 is a demonstrator. It's built for exhibitions. It's built for creating fun, cool content and educating and showing people about electrification. Most importantly to me, is built to put smiles on faces.
It's crazy to think, with as much as I love engineering, data, going fast, and performance, the most awesome part of this project to me is being able to share this experience with others.
For me, the most meaningful part of the project is probably still ahead of us.
I would say we've just completed phase 1 with the Mach-E 1400. This is one of those projects that has a life, you know, like it will continue to evolve and grow and become more than what it is at this current moment.